Hello, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, if you're new on here, my name is Philip, and this is Phil Reacts. Today's definitely a big one. We are diving into one of the most, legendary albums of all time, in my opinion. Pink Floyd's, The Dark Side of the Moon. To me, this isn't just music. It's definitely an experience. It's a journey. It's a piece of history. People say this album, changed the game forever, and I mean, I agree. And we are about to find out. So if you're ready to go on this sonic trip with me, strap in because we are about to take off. But before we start, hit that like button if you're a Pink Floyd fan and subscribe, so you don't miss any more deep dive reactions such as this one. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite track from this album, The Dark Side of the Moon. I would definitely be reading them. Now, full disclosure, this album, comes, with 10 songs, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've heard, like 70, 80%, of the songs on this album. That's because I've done separate reactions on this, on my main channel. I've heard On the Run, I've heard Time, I've heard The Great Gig in the Sky, I've heard Money, Us and Them. Yeah, I think those are the only songs that I've reacted to. But I've heard people say, I mean, this album, really hits. When you listen to it, in its entirety. So that is exactly what we are going to do right now. 10 songs. First song titled "Speak to Me." Let's get right in, guys. Let's go. Okay, is that a heartbeat? Ooh. Whoa. Okay, it's only a minute and 5 seconds.
I've always been mad. I know I've been mad, like most of us have. They have to explain why you were mad, even if you're not mad.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. So "Speak to Me" runs into the second song, "Breathe," in the air. But I mean, before we listen to "Breathe," definitely have a few things to say about the first song. That is, if it's even a song. The opening, to this legendary album, "Dark Side of the Moon." With this one, "Speak to Me," definitely was something else. You know, this isn't your typical song, with verses, and choruses. Instead, to me, it's more of a soundscape or an overture. That I feel like it sets the stage or sets the mood for, the entire album. Right from the start, you get the heartbeats, pulsing in the background. It feels almost human, pulling you as a listener right into the core theme of life and mortality. Layered on top, are these haunting elements. I mean, the ticking clocks, the manic, laughter, cash registers, helicopter sounds, even based on a few facts, we have a Claire Torres, siren whale, that I feel like are hints at the great gig in the sky. To me, it's like they are previewing everything you're about to experience. All within 2 minutes. Now, in terms of vocals, I mean, there aren't traditional lyrics here. Instead, we get snippets of voices, people laughing, speaking, even hinting at madness. I feel like I asked this in an eerie human touch, that makes you, feel like you are, overhearing fragments of real life, real thoughts. The instrumentation is minimal, but intentional. I love the fact that it's not about melody. To me, it's about atmosphere. That's reversed. Piano chord at the end, leading into breathe. To me, it's genius. I feel like I gotta see the Pink Floyd telling you, buckle up. This is just the beginning. Yeah, and one may ask, what is this all about? Based on a few facts, that I read about this album, at its core, "Speak to Me" is about, life itself. The noise, the chaos, the fragility. It's more like a, sonic, collage, of what it means, to be human. You know, Birth, time, money, fear, madness, and finally, mortality. It doesn't just introduce the album. It drops you straight into its heartbeat, guys. Just 1 minute, and we're already, getting something. So yeah, we move on to breathe. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Breathe, breathe in the air. Don't be afraid to care. Leave, don't leave me. Look around, choose your own ground. How you live, how you fly. Smiles you'll give and tears you'll cry.
Okay.
All you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be. Run, rabbit, run. Dig that hole, get the sun. When at last the work is done, don't sit down, it's time to dig another one. How you live and how you fly,
Okay.
but only if you ride the tide.
Whoa.
Balanced on the biggest wave, race towards an early grave.
Wow. Since this is a concept album, all these songs run into each other. So please forgive me, for pausing. Right after I listen to these songs, I definitely would like to share my thoughts about them. Yeah. So we just listened to "Breathe." In the air, and I feel like this is just wow. "Breathe." This song, is such a powerful way to step into this album. Once again, right from the start, the mood just pulls you in as a listener. The vocals, by David Gilmour, it was soft, it was warm and almost hypnotic. I love the fact that he doesn't try to overpower you. He delivers the lyrics in a gentle, floating way that makes you really, really feel the message. Slow down, take life in. Don't get lost, in the grind. I love the fact that it's calm, yet it hits so deep, guys. The instrumentation, was something else. The band really went. They created this dreamy landscape, with layered guitars, lap steel, and those smooth organ and Rhodes textures, with from Richard Wright. Nick Mason's drumming, also here, is laid back, but precise, giving the song, just enough heartbeats, to keep it moving. The whole mix definitely feels open and atmospheric, like you are, drifting in space, but still grounded, by that groove. I don't know if that makes sense, yes, but the instrumentation of this one, was something else. Now, Breathe. One may ask, what is this song all about? Lyrically, this song, feels like an advice, from someone older and wiser, telling you to pause, breathe and not get caught up, in society's, endless race. To me, it's about life, it's about time, and the importance, of caring, and living, with awareness, as part of the larger, Dark Side of the Moon journey. I mean, I feel like it sets the tone for themes of existence, mortality, and human struggle. Yeah, overall, Breathe, is the perfect, invitation into the album, both relaxing and thought-provoking. Yes, that is just me. That is just what I think, about this one. We go on to On the Run. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whoa. Let's go. Whoa. Wow. Whoa. Okay. All right, guys. Yes. So that was on the run. Wow. I mean, on the run to me, is one of the most unique pieces, on this album. The Dark Side of the Moon. And it's not your typical song at all. In fact, there are no traditional vocals here. Instead, we get scattered spoken words and snippets and effects. Almost like overheard announcements. At an airport. That choice really really sets the tone. I have to say. I mean, it's less about the lyrics and more about creating an atmosphere. The instrumentation is completely dominated by the synthesizer. So based on a few facts that I pulled up, Pink Floyd used the EMS, the synth, the AKS, to build this racing, spiraling sequence that feels like it's always moving forward. I mean, relentless, urgent, almost claustrophobic. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, adding panning effects, reverse, guitar sounds, and simulated Doppler effects, and you really, really get the sensation of being trapped in the chaos of modern level, or maybe even running from life itself. I love the fact that it's tense, it's mechanical, and brilliant. In its use of space and sound design, guys. I mean, as for what this is all about, on the run, I feel like it ties directly into the album's, bigger themes of time, anxiety, and mortality. It captures the nervous energy of being constantly on the move, never slowing down. And I feel like that underlying fear of what might happen next. By the end, when the soundscape crescendos into an explosive movement before transitioning into time. It feels like the panic of running, catching up with you, and you are forced to face the inevitable. Overall, I mean, after listening to this one, I have to say, I feel like this isn't a song you sing along to, but rather one that you experience. This is the Pink Floyd, at their most experimental, if you ask me. I mean, turning fear and stress into a sound. That is genius. That is just pure genius. So on the run, transitions into time. Yeah, which I've heard. Let's take a listen, guys. The alarm clock. Yeah.
years have gone behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun.
Guys, so that was Pink Floyd's Time. This is like the fourth song, off of this album, and wow, I mean, this song, to me, I mean, I loved it. I loved, I mean, like I said, I've heard this song before, but listening to it, almost makes me feel like, it's the first time I'm listening to it. I mean, this song Time, to me is one of those tracks that really, really makes you stop and think. First off, the instrumentation. I mean, the instrumentation is just iconic. That opening barrage, of clocks and alarms, is like an audio, wake up call. Literally, jolting you into the song. Nick Mason's drumming definitely sets this in a hypnotic groove, and then David Gilmour, he comes in with those soaring guitar solos, and that feels both urgent and emotional. Yeah, Richard Wright's, keyboards that layer everything, with this spacious and almost cosmic atmosphere, that perfectly fits the theme. On the vocals, we have David Gilmour, and then Richard Wright himself. They share lead duties, and I love that balance, guys. David Gilmour's voice, has this raw emotional weight, to it, whilst Richard Wright's harmonies, soften and expand the delivery together. They really, really capture, the blend of agency and reflection in the lyrics. I have to say. And speaking of the lyrics, guys, I mean this song, I mean, is about the passage of time. How it slips away faster, than we expect, and that realization of mortality, that hits us, all at the same point. Based on a few facts that I pulled up, so Roger Waters, wrote this, from a place of awakening, not preparing for life anymore, but realizing you are already in the middle of it. I love the fact that this song is haunting, it's relatable, and absolutely powerful, guys. Yes, overall, Time, is more than just a rock song, if you ask me. I mean, it's a reminder, to live deliberately before, it's too late. Pink Floyd really, really nailed that mix, of sound and philosophy. I feel like Pink Floyd really, really nailed that mix of sound and philosophy. That makes this one timeless. Yeah. So, guys, let me know what you guys think about this one down in the comment section. This song Time, transitions into the great gig in the sky. Let's go. Okay.
And I am not frightened of dying. Any time will do, I don't mind. Why should I be frightened of dying? There's no reason for it. You've got to go sometime.
All right, guys. Yes. So that was the great gig in the sky. Yes. Like I said, this I have heard before. But I mean, listening to it again, once again, it almost feels like the first time. I mean, this one is just wow. That's all I have to say. I mean, this one right here, it's just on a completely different level. The Great Gig in the Sky, it's less of a song and more, of an emotional experience. First off, those vocals, by Claire Torrey. I love the fact that she doesn't sing words. She becomes the emotion. Her improvised performance feels like a cry, a prayer, and a release, all at once, guys. It's raw, it's powerful, and it definitely captures the full, spectrum of human feelings, about life and death, without saying a single lyric. Honestly, it's one of the most iconic vocal moments in rock history, if you ask me personally. Then you have the instrumentation. Richard Wright's piano to me is the backbone here. It's gentle, it's haunting, and deeply spiritual. The organ and subtle guitar textures wrap around it. Whilst the drums rise and fall. To match the intensity of the vocals. The band. I love the fact that they build all they build this incredible dynamic arc, moving from calm acceptance to sour intensity, and back to silence. Yeah, I loved it. Now, I mean, at its core, this track to me is about mortality, the fear of death, the acceptance of it, and maybe even the beauty of letting go. I mean, because there are no lyrics, I feel like it leaves room for, every single listener to project their own feelings and experiences. It's almost like the sound of the soul, leaving the body. For me, this isn't just the music, it's a meditation on life itself. Yeah, that's just my thoughts about it. But guys, let me know how you feel whenever you listen to this one down in the comment section. Let the conversation go down there. Yes, we'll move on to the said song, Money. Yeah, let's go. Okay, cash register. Let's go. Ooh. Guys, I wonder how they're able to capture that. So clear. Okay.
Money,
Yeah.
I certainly was in the right.
It's definitely like gives you cruising for bruising.
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time.
He just told me it was plugged into number 2. He was asking why it wasn't coming up on 311. So after I yelling and screaming and telling him why it wasn't coming up on 3.
All right, guys. Yes. So that was the said song of the album, "Money." Wow. Full disclosure, I've heard this song before, and I feel like this song, once again, "Money," is one of those tracks, that immediately grabs you as a listener. Not just with its message, but with the way it sounds. First off, the vocals. Roger Waters, this man delivers the lyrics, with a sharp, almost sarcastic sort of edge. You can really, really hear, the bite in his tone, which I feel like perfectly matches the satirical, lyrics about greed, consumerism, and the obsession, with wealth. It feels less like, he's singing and more like he's narrating at the whole system. Now, for the instrumentation, I feel like this is where the song, truly, truly shines. That iconic, bass line in 7/4 time, I feel like instantly, makes you perk up. It's groovy, but just off kilter enough, to feel unsettling. Add in the cash registers, the coins, and the tape loops, and you've got this sonic world that puts you right in the middle of the song's theme. And then of course David Gilmour's guitar solo, definitely a showstopper. Switching into a 4/4, letting the solo breathe like a classic blues jam, while still keeping that Floridian edge. I don't know if that makes sense, but that guitar solo was something else. As for what this song is all about, Money is more than just a rock song, about cash. It's satire, if you ask me. The lyrics mock the pursuit of wealth and material possessions, showing how money, can corrupt and consume people. I love the fact that it's clever, it's ironic, and sadly still, as relevant today. Yeah, overall, this is a masterclass in how Pink Floyd combined concept, sound design, and musicianship to make not just a song but a statement. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes, but that's just my thoughts about this one. Let me know what you guys also think about Money down in the comment section. We'll move on to Us and Them, one of my favorite songs, from Pink Floyd, the track 7. Let's take a listen, guys.
311.
I certainly was in the right.
And a heavy blow which started to matter out.
Let anyone do anything.
He just told me
I don't know, I was really drunk at the time.
Saxophone, guys. Beautiful.
and them.
saxophone, guys. Beautiful.
and out. It can't be helped that there's a lot of it about. Without.
Okay, with, without. Nice.
And who deny it's what the fighting's all about?
Wow.
Out of the way, it's a busy day. I've got things on my mind. The part of the price of tea in the slice.
Guys, so us and them transitions into the age song Any Color You Like, but I mean, we just listen to us and them, and I definitely have to speak on it. This song, once again, us and them, to me is one of those songs that just stops you in your tracks. I mean, vocally, David Gilmour and Richard Wright, brought this soft and almost haunting calmness to the verses, contrasted by those sour and powerful, harmonies in the choruses. That really, really, I mean, I feel like I drive the emotion home. It's not flashy. This is definitely not, flashy singing, but it's perfectly in service, of the song's message. Instrumentation wise, I feel like this track, is stunning. Like I said, one of my favorite songs, from this band. Richard Wright's, jazz-inspired piano progression, sets the mood, and I love that. I mean, I love the fact that it's slow, it's just reflective, almost like a meditation. Then you've got Dick Parry's saxophone weaving in and out, adding this soulful human cry that deepens that atmosphere. The dynamics are definitely brilliant too. If you ask me, those quiet verses suddenly explode into walls of sound, when the band kicks in, showing Pink Floyd's mastery of space and tension. Yeah, lyrically, Roger Waters really, really cuts deep here. The song is about human division. It's about war. It's about inequality. Lines like forward he cried from the rear, and the front rank died. I feel like that line highlights the frugality and the disconnects between leaders and the people who suffer. To me, it's not just about battlefields though. It's a wider reflection on how we treat each other in everyday life. Overall, this song, Us and Them, to me, is both musically beautiful and thematically heavy. A masterpiece that blends the jazz, rock, and poetry into one unforgettable track. Yeah. Wow. We'll move on to the eighth song, Any Color You Like. Let's take a listen. Okay, guys. Yes. So any color you like, transitions into the nice song, "Brain Damage." Yes, but I definitely had to, talk about this one. So this song, once again, "Any Color You Like." I mean, after listening to this, I have to say this is such a trippy and fascinating part, of the dark side of the moon. What's interesting right away is that, I mean, there. I mean, obviously there are no traditional vocals here. No lyrics, to guide you. Uh, no Roger Waters, storytelling. Instead, the voice, of the song, comes through the instruments, themselves. You get these, swirling, synth textures, from Richard Wright. Almost like waves of sound, rising and falling. And then David Gilmour layers in these, harmonized, guitars, with that, univibe, sort of effect, making it feel like the guitars, are actually singing. Guys, I love that. I mean, the instrumentation is definitely hypnotic. The synths, set this, floating, spacey atmosphere, and then the guitar lines, I feel like I dance over it, with this fluid, almost vocal like, sort of quality. Nick Mason, also, came in here, he kept the groove, steady underneath, but I love the fact that it's subtle, the focus was really, really on this, a conversation between guitar and synth. It definitely feels improvisational, like the band is just, letting the music, breathe, all the way through. As for what this song is all about, I mean, I love the fact that it's open, to interpretation. Since there are no lyrics, the title itself, "Any Color You Like," hints at the illusion of choice. You can pick any color, but maybe they are all the same, in the end. I love the fact that it ties, beautifully into the themes of, the album. Perception, freedom, and the constraints of modern life. At the same time, because it's wordless, I feel like it invites you as a listener, to project, your own colors and emotions, onto it. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes, but that's just my thoughts. That's just my take. In short, this is Pink Floyd, giving us a pure, instrumental journey. Proving they don't need words, to make a statement. It's psychedelic, it's expansive, and it's a perfect bridge, between the heavier lyrical tracks, around it. Yeah. So let me know if your take, on this particular song. Thank you. We move on to Brain Damage. Yes, any color you like, transitioning into Brain Damage. Let's take a listen. Yeah.
The lunatic is on the grass. The lunatic is on the grass, remembering games and daisy chains and laughs. Got to keep the loonies on the path.
Wow.
The lunatic is in the hall. The lunatics are in my hall. The paper holds their folded faces to the floor. And every day the paper boy brings more. And if the dam breaks open many years too soon, and if there is no room upon the hill, and if your head explodes without the bones too, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. The lunatic is in my head.
Okay, that's laughter.
The lunatic is in my head. You raise the blade, You make the change. You rearrange me till I'm sane. You lock the door and throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. And if the cloud bursts, thunder in your ear, you shout and no one seems to hear. And if the band you're in starts playing different tunes, I'll see you on the dark side of the moon.
That laughter, guys. Guys, okay, so that was Brain Damage. This song, transition into the third song, Eclipse, but definitely have to talk about this one, Brain Damage. Man, guys, I have to say, Brain Damage really, 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 hits, on a deeper level. Vocally, Roger Waters, definitely kept it soft and almost conversational, if you ask me. I feel like it makes the lyrics feel even more haunting. The subtle harmonies from David Gilmour lift certain lines, and gives it this chilling emotional weight. To me, it's not about powerhouse singing. It's about storytelling, and the delivery pulls you right into that space between clarity and madness. Yes, instrumentation wise, it's deceptively simple, but so effective. The acoustic guitar definitely kept everything grounded, whilst the organ, and synth textures, added this, dreamlike and eerie quality. You can hear the band, holding back, building atmosphere, rather than showing off, and that restraint to me, makes the song feel so powerful. The way it flows right into Eclipse, it's just perfect. It feels like the calm before an overwhelming, conclusion. Lyrically, this song, is about, mental illness, fragility, and the thin line between sanity and insanity. You can definitely hear Roger Waters, reflecting on, Sid Barrett, the band's original member who struggled with mental breakdowns. But to me, it's also bigger than that. It's about how society defines, what's normal, and how we all have, a dark side of the moon, inside of us. Overall, Brain Damage, is both unsettling and beautiful, all at the same time. It feels personal, but also universal. Like Pink Floyd is holding up a mirror and saying, this could be any of us. Yeah. Like I said, this song transitioned into the last song, the final song, Eclipse. So let's take a listen, guys.
All that you touch and all that you see, all that you taste, all you feel, and all that you love, and all that you hate, all you distrust, all you save, and all that you give, and all that you deal, and all that you buy, big, borrow, or steal, and all you create, and all you destroy, and all that you do, and all that you say, and all that you eat, and everyone you meet, and all that you slight, your face, and all that is now, and all that is gone, and all that's to come, and everything under the sun is in June, and the sun is eclipsed by the moon.
Wow. We are back to heartbeats.
There is no dark side in the moon, really. Matter of fact, it's all dark.
Whoa. Guys, and there we have it. The final song, you know, from this album, Eclipse. Wow, wow. What a way, to close out, this timeless classic, The Dark Side of the Moon. Eclipse to me, isn't a long track, but it feels absolutely massive. Roger Waters, vocals here, they are direct, almost preacher like, as he runs through this all that you lines. I feel like it builds up, like a sermon, a stocking imagery of everything we touch, everything we see, everything we love, and everything we fear. And the background harmonies, just lift higher, giving it a sense of finality and power. I don't know if that makes sense, but I loved it. I mean, the instrumentation of the song, it's deceptively simple, as always. Steady organ chords, the restrained, guitar, that heartbeat and the pulsing underneath, but the way it all comes together, is so cinematic. The backing singers, definitely add this gospel-like weight that I feel like makes the song, feel almost spiritual, like a conclusion to the whole album journey. Lyrically, Eclipse, is about the sum, of a human experience. Everything under the sun, is in tune. But then there is that, one haunting line. The sun is eclipsed, by the moon. To me, it's Pink Floyd, saying that no matter, how much light and order, we find in our life, there is always a shadow, an inner darkness that can, cut through. And then, you get that chilling, spoken outro. There is no dark side of the moon, really. It's all dark, which really ties the whole concept together in such a haunting way. As a closer, I feel like, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's short, it's powerful, and thought provoking. It doesn't just end the album, if you ask me. It makes you sit there in silence after, still processing everything you just heard. Yeah, guys, this was something else. After listening to this album in its entirety, definitely a few standout highlights for me. I definitely loved David Gilmour's guitar solos, especially on time. Pure soul, not just note. I love Claire Torres' vocals on The Great Gig in the Sky. Raw emotions, no lyrics needed. The production was out of this world. Alan Parsons definitely deserves a medal. The way this album sounds is still unmatched. I love the themes. The themes on this album, money, time, madness, mortality. It's not just music. It's philosophy wrapped in sound. Wow. Man, honestly, this isn't just an album, definitely feels, like an experience. To me, The Dark Side of the Moon is timeless because, it speaks to things, we all go through, time slipping away, the pull of money, the fear of death, the struggle with sanity. And musically, it's a masterpiece, guys. Every second definitely felt intentional. No wonder, it's one of the best selling and most celebrated albums ever. Yeah. So tell me in the comments, what's your favorite track, on this album, The Dark Side of the Moon? Is it the funky groove of money, the souring, emotion of great gig in the sky, or maybe the deep, reflection of time? Please let me know down in the comment section. If you enjoyed this journey, with me, smash the like button, subscribe for more, music reactions such as this one, and share, this video, with a fellow Pink Floyd fan. Trust me, we've got so much more legendary music, to cover, together. Guys, this was Pink Floyd's, Dark Side of the Moon, and man, what a trip. Until next time, keep your ears open, your heart full, and I'll definitely see you in my next album reaction. Take care. Peace out.